Good morning, friends. I thought I would come on and do something very different today. I broke down and bought this really pretty 12 by 12 paper from Michaels yesterday. I just loved all the different patterns in it. And I thought they would be a really good basic pattern for pretty much any occasion. So I decided to show you what it looks like, how many journaling cards you can get out of this if you're doing Project Life. So as you can see, there are 29 designs, 2 sheets of each. I'm sure you can do the math, but I'll show you how I would break down this pattern paper pad. So stay tuned. I will pull out one of each of the designs and I'll be right back. I've been really good about using my stash, but when I saw this pad, I just couldn't pass it up. I used my one of my coupons from Michaels, and it was just so pretty. All of the colors that are in here are colors that I feel are very versatile. And I also had a little 6x6 pattern paper pad. I think it was from Pink Fresh Studios. It'll actually make an appearance here later in the video. But like, these are all of my colors. So there was no way I was leaving this pad at Michael's. It had to come home with me. All right, I'm back. So this is one of each of the patterns. And as it turned out, I actually had 3 of this particular pattern here. So I will grab my guillotine trimmer and I will start cutting these up. So I'm going to end up using my Tim Holtz Tonic Studios guillotine trimmer. I love this thing. It just lives on my desk. And you're going to see me tackle these papers a couple of different ways. I started out, because I don't usually batch cut papers, so I had a couple of different false starts. This was me cutting it down into 4-inch strips and then down to 6, and then I got a little wiser and I decided I'll cut the papers to 6 inches and then cut them at 8 and 4 inches, and then it's just less fussing and mussing with the papers in my trimmer. There's a couple of times where I even also try stacking the 2 6x12 papers that I've cut just to see if I can make it go a little faster. But my guillotine trimmer, I love it, but sometimes the paper slides, so I'm sure some of my 4x6s aren't actually 4x6. Yeah, you'll see I stack this one. It slides just a little bit, even when I'm holding down on the guard there. But yeah, this was just me playing in my craft room without really having to create anything. Sometimes when I've got a little bit of, not real creative mojo going, I tend to do tasks like this in my craft room, just so I can spend the time playing with all the pretty things, but not taxing my brain to do anything creative. So this particular day we were heading out for some errands and things, so I wanted to get a couple of little things done, but not commit myself to spending a couple of hours in the craft room. Altogether, cutting apart all of these sheets took me about 20 minutes, 21 minutes, which was not bad. And now, of course, that work is done. And then I think off camera, I reorganized my little basket of 4x6 cards back into rainbow order. I've been picking and taking things out of it and putting them back, but not putting them back in the right order. So it just needed a quick little tidy. So as you can see, this is going relatively quickly. but I think it was around this stage that hubby popped his head in my room and asked me what our plans were for the day. So I ended up realizing I needed to speed myself up a little bit. So you're going to see me start stacking the papers pretty consistently here in a minute. Yeah. So I'm just lining them up with the top guide on the trimmer and doing the best I can to straighten them. As I said, I'm sure a few of these, when I get actually using them, are going to be a little bit crooked, but the 4x6 pockets are pretty forgiving. So yeah, if you were doing only 4x6 cards, you'd get 174 journaling cards from 29 sheets of 12x12 cardstock. If you were doing 3x4 journaling cards, of course, you would double that amount. So it just depends, but one pack of paper is really going to stretch a long time if this is the only way you use it. So I will likely end up making some cards out of this. I tend to just take my 12x12 and cut it to 4x6 no matter what. And then that way you've got a ready-made card mat with, you know, a slight little adjustment. Or like I said, you can cut your 4x6 cards into 3x4s, and you can really start to manipulate the sizes. I just like starting with a 4x6 because I feel like for my crafting purposes, it seems to be a really versatile size. Of course, if you're someone who does mostly 6x8 memory keeping, you would likely cut your pages down to that size. But for me, the 4x6 works great. And it's easy to store for me. I just have a little basket that I stack all my journaling cards in. And it looks like I'm on my last paper. I'll be back to you live here in a minute. All right, I'm back. So as you can see, this creates quite a stack of cards. And what I would normally do is go in and take one of each of these patterns and cut it into a 3x4. But I think I'm just going to leave them intact. That's something I can easily do right before I do a layout. So I'm going to actually grab one of my 6x6 pattern pads that's been in my stash for a while. I have a sneaking suspicion the colors are going to match. I'll be right back. All right, so this little Pinkfresh Studios 6x6 pad's been in my stash since 2021. It's the Keeping It Real, and I won't flip through all of them, but as you can see, a lot of the colors are very similar. Yeah, like that's pretty much a swatch of all the colors, and you can see it goes really nicely. Yeah. All right. So I broke down, friends. I know I said I was going to really try, but I mean, how could I resist that paper? All right, so that's it for me for today. As always, thanks for coming to hang out with me, and I will see you next video. Bye for now.